Welcome to another episode of the Support Squad podcast. I am so glad that you're listening, and for the first time ever, you might be watching this podcast. And that's because I have completely shifted the way that I'm going to be producing and recording the podcast. So to explain the changes and let you know what's been going on in my crazy little mind lately, I'm going to take you through first the process that the podcast has always been and the way that I've always produced the podcast. So if you've been listening for a long time, I'm going to tell you right now, every word that you've heard me speak on the Support Squad podcast has been 100% scripted and pre-written, except for like interviews with guest experts and things like that. All of the podcast episodes that were just me, I completely wrote and typed out beforehand. That's kind of crazy, right? Like, none of it was off the cuff. It was all pre-planned and pre-recorded. And so the way I'm going to be doing things now is I'm just creating, pretty simple outlines for these episodes, what I want them to cover. And then I'm going to be just riffing on them while recording on video, because I want you to be able to hear or see these episodes however it's most convenient for you and however it makes you feel the most connected to me. So if that's just by hearing my voice on the podcast, like in your car or something like that, great. If you'd rather sit down at night and have a cup of coffee and look at me in my eyes and talk to me in that way and connect with me that way, you can do that too. Either way is so good with me. I just want to make sure that I'm supporting you in whatever way you need me. So that's one reason I've shifted. So there's lots of reasons that we can decide to make a big shift in our business. I'm going to take you through 4 of them today. And all of these things are reasons that I've made this decision to shift from my old way of doing things into this new way. So the first reason to make a shift in your business, if you're feeling that like that, is if you are not excited about the old way of doing things. This might be shocking, but I got to a point eventually with writing down the podcast scripts where it became something that I dreaded doing. Honestly, I'm so sorry because I love the podcast and I love being able to connect with you guys in this way. But I got to a point where the thought of sitting down and having to type out another podcast episode, like, it felt so stressful and draining, and I just didn't have the energy to do it anymore. And so that's why I decided to make the shift into going more off the cuff. So the way to bring this into your business, if you're not excited about something that you're doing, if the old way isn't lighting you up anymore, it's time to make a shift. And sometimes you might not recognize it because it could be something that you used to be excited about, that over time, monotony can lead to make things become more of a chore and more something that we feel like we have to do. So over time, we have to keep reevaluating. Does this still light me up? Does this still inspire me? Because if you're not inspired, you're not motivated, you're not going to be able to serve in the way that you want to serve. And I got to a point with the podcast where I knew that I wasn't going to be able to give you guys the content that you wanted from me, that energy, that life that you needed, if I was going to continue to feel bogged down and drained by the process. So that's why I'm here with you on video and going off the cuff here on the mic today. Okay, so the second way to know that it's time to make a shift in your business is if the old way is compromising your core values. So one thing that I noticed since I was feeling so drained and resistant to writing down the podcast scripts is that I stopped batching out that work because I just could not sit down and write for that long. That was a real moment. My phone just went off, but I'm not going to edit it out because I'm going to release perfectionism on this. That's part of this journey. So if you're finding that the way that you're doing things is compromising your core values, one of my core values is making sure that nothing in my business is an emergency, nothing feels forced or rushed, and the way that I like to do that is by batching out work. And I could not sit down and write 5 podcast scripts in a row anymore. I just didn't have it in me. And so what I was doing was writing and recording these episodes the day before they went live, which compromises my values as a business owner. I don't like to do anything the day before. I like to have things batched out so that I can flow through things with ease, so that I never have to feel that impending, like, oh my gosh, this is something I have to take care of by tomorrow. And so that was one way that I knew I needed to make a major shift, was because I'd gotten away from the systems that helped me to maintain my boundaries and my values in your business. So if you're starting to see that with clients or in your work, that you're starting to compromise on your values and your boundaries, you know it's time to switch things up. So constantly be evaluating that. Okay, so the number 3 way to know you need to make a shift in your business is if you know you can have more of an impact if you shift. So this sweet little podcast has been steadily growing since its birth on January 1st, 2019. It's definitely been a steady growth, but I know that I can reach more people if I can talk to them face to face. Like, I know how powerful video is. And so I know that by putting myself out there in this way, I can impact more lives. I can help more people make the leap to leave that yucky job or contribute more to their family, whatever it is that they're needing. I know I can impact more people if I also make myself available on video this way. So that's one way to know. If you know that you can shift your business by bringing on a subcontractor or, changing your marketing strategy, if you know that making that shift means that you can have more of an impact on the people you serve, you know that it's aligned and you know it's a good choice. So that's another place to evaluate. Okay, so the number 4 reason is if you're feeling that pull to create, but you don't want it to mean more work for you. So for me, I was feeling like, okay, I want to do something fresh. I want to do something more to serve my audience. I want to, spread myself in more places, but I don't want to add anything else to my plate and to my schedule. It is full enough. And so what I started thinking was like, how can I create more? How can I be creative? How can I do something different without losing the people that have been there for me from the beginning, and without having to add more creation to my plate? And so just think about how you can tweak little things in your business where you want to change the way you're doing it, but you don't want to add more, because that's so much of this process of entrepreneurs, right? We're all super creative. We're always gonna feel that drive to be making something more. But before you know it, stuff can really start to pile up. So really you have to look at, where can I have the most impact? How can I be creative while still not adding more to my plate? That was really important to me, and that's another reason that I made this switch. So I hope those 4 tips help you today. And if you're watching this, thank you so much. Like, it's always so kind of scary to put out something new. Putting out this new kind of content, it's invigorating, but it's also scary. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And I'm gonna ask you guys, because I don't ask you this a lot, but I'm really feeling it today. I need your support. If you've been listening to this podcast for a long time and you've never left me a review, today's the day. Reviews mean so much to me. They help my podcast get seen more, and they also motivate me to keep creating this content. Knowing that you are on the other side of the mic or now the video shows me that I'm having the impact that I want. And so please leave me a review. Hop on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a review. It would mean the world to me. So thanks so much for tuning in today, you guys. And we have some amazing stuff coming up in the Support Squad membership community this month. I'm super excited to introduce you to Jessa Glover, who you met on the podcast last week. She is our guest expert in the Support Squad membership community this month, and she's teaching us how to use our Instagram stories to find or to attract clients that don't just want freebies, that don't want to nickel and dime us, but high profile clients that will pay us what we deserve. She has some great strategies that she's sharing in that training. And to go along with it, I am creating a meditation for Support Squad members this month that you can listen to before discovery calls and before getting on your Instagram stories to pump you up. It's an energy activating meditation. It's not like a sleepy meditation that will make you fall asleep. It's a meditation designed to pump you up. So it's full of mantras and affirmations to boost your confidence before you go on those big calls. We have other awesome stuff coming up. So head to thesupportsquad.com right now to enroll if you haven't yet. You can try membership for free for 14 days. And if you don't like it, you can cancel. I won't be mad. I'll miss you, but I won't be mad. So go sign up today.